Hey guys, this is going to be a response to Losoyo and something he said on the Friday Night Roundtable 2 weeks ago. The topic of the Friday Night Roundtable that week was Ray Comfort's new movie and abortion and some other things. So basically the thing I disagree with Losoyo on, even though he is pro-choice, is that he believes that life begins at conception, which means as soon as the sperm meets the egg, that's it. That's a living being. Now, he invited people to try to change his mind about this, and that's exactly what I'm going to be attempting in this video. I think that the reason he thinks that life begins at conception is because of a misconception he has about what life is. I think it has something to do with the fact that he is religious and believes that a soul exists in the body. Now, not that I'm saying that he's basing his opinion on there being a soul in the body, but I'm going to address this in two different ways. First, for there being a soul in the body, and two, for life beginning at conception. So, first, for there being a soul in the body, I already made a video about how a soul cannot exist in light of evolution. Or it's not that a soul cannot exist, but rather that the common concept of a soul is impossible if you accept evolution. Now, I'm going to repeat a few of the points that I made in that video to make it easier to understand. One of my points in that video was that you have to go back and try to look which was the first organism which God gave a soul, or that got a soul somehow. Now, obviously, if you want to believe in an afterlife, for there being a heaven and hell and all that stuff, then it must be only humans who have a soul. Because how do bacteria get judged on whether they accept Jesus Christ or not? It doesn't make any sense. But then you have to ask yourself, who were the first humans which got a soul? I mean, there is no such thing as the first human, because evolution teaches that it's not that a primate gave birth to a human. It's a gradual process over hundreds, if not thousands of generations that slowly changes how that organism looks, how the genes are expressed, and so on. So you can't really pinpoint what the first human actually is. It's completely illogical to do that. It's actually a continuum fallacy, because it's just like asking, when is hair considered long? You know, is my hair long? If it was half its length, would it be long? If it was half that, would it be long? When exactly is the exact point when it becomes from short hair to long hair? That doesn't exist. The same about humans and souls. There was no first human, because our primates millions of years ago were a little bit human. They had some human characteristics, but they were still mostly primate. I mean, we're still primates basically, but what I mean is more ape-looking. And if you go back even further than that, then you get to mammals. Did mammals have souls? Did dinosaurs have souls? And you can go back all the way to the first single-celled organism and ask if that got a soul. So, souls do not exist. Period. It doesn't make any sense. Now, about life beginning at conception, well, in my video about the afterlife and souls in light of evolution, I also showed a different point to explain how it's impossible for souls to exist. Because life, and here's where I think Losoyo's misconception about what life is comes into play. He thinks of life like, if I use an analogy, then what he considers life is like a string. It has two ends, a beginning and an end. And it begins at one point and ends at another. But we know that life is not like that at all. Life isn't really that black and white. Life is more of something between a cycle, a circle, and a tree. By that I mean, life isn't really a single line or string with a beginning and an end. It's a cycle. And one of the stages of that cycle is reproduction. But the cycle continues from organism to organism. So which point of that cycle is the beginning and which is the end? There is none, because it's a cycle. You don't have a beginning and an end to a circle. Now, one of the stages of the life cycle is reproduction, but that by no means means that the offspring begins its life at that point, because all the chromosomes that the chemical processes are working on to create a living organism already exist in the father and mother cells. And before that, it was just another cell producing that cell, and another cell producing that cell, and another cell producing that cell. It's basically just replication of cells. That's all life is. So where exactly does life begin? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to look at it truly the way it is, and that's why I mentioned the tree analogy, life basically began when our first single-celled organism ancestor of all life on this planet was created. Since then, life began, and it doesn't stop until all life on Earth perishes. Because it's not that I am an individual organism. It's just that I am the product of chemical processes happening on the molecular level on certain cells. And me right now, the way I am now, is just one manifestation of that. But it's more like a tree, where at the base of the tree you have the first amoeba that was the common ancestor of all life on Earth, including bacteria, fungi, and everything. And from there it branched off, and each branch grew more branches, and each of those branches grows more branches, but it's not as if each branch is an individual tree. You understand? So please explain to me how it is possible that life begins at conception, and why would it be a useful definition to use the word life in that way. I hope you find the time to answer this video, Losoyo, because I really would appreciate it, and I'm willing to have a discussion with you about this, whether it's on Skype or even in video responses. Have a nice day.